Tim.
Yes.
You're the final topic this week.
Final topic this week. I'm going to go with sleepovers.
Oh, okay. You want to have one tonight?
Yeah, I definitely do want to have one tonight. So
With me.
Yeah, just you.
Not a lady friend.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Do those count?
Sleeping
those
over
count
here
as sleepovers.
tonight?
You tell
I still
me.
call
You
them
defined
sleepovers.
it. You're
Yeah,
sleeping
yeah,
over
yeah.
tonight. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Why'd you do the eyebrows? Stop doing the eyebrows,
I don't
Ramon.
know, man.
So I
Think
feel
about
like
playing GoldenEye
sleepovers.
all night.
Sleepovers are a very important thing for friendships and for your formative years in a lot of ways. And I feel like we all have stories, and I'd love to hear your guys' stories because I
sure.
definitely know I have some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sleepovers are great.
Mm-hmm.
My sleepover stories range. We did the stupid stuff you do. You stay up all night. You try to do this or whatever.
I feel like every sleepover, every good sleepover reaches that point where you're just like, all right, it's already 2 a.m. Let's stay up till sunrise.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? We don't care about sunrise. It's like, yeah, but let's just do it.
Yeah.
And then you reach
We're at
like
least close.
5 and we're like, oh, we're so close. It's like, yeah, but we're fucking tired as shit. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, maximize your
dumb.
time to be ruined the next day. The two sleepover stories that stand out. I'll start with the boring, nerdy one, and this is when we could drive, so we were in high school or whatever. Poe, when I finally convinced him, he broke down and bought a PS2. And so, and the NCAA, this was during the summer actually, while we were in college actually. NCAA came out that year. It was, I think, the second generation NCAA football on it. And so I convinced him to break down. He bought it, and then he bought the football game. And so we were both playing it like crazy. So he came over to my house, and I set up a card table and the TV from my bedroom in the basement. And then there was the big screen TV that I was playing on. And then we would just both play our seasons nonstop. And if when one of us got to a bowl game or a big rivalry game, whoever that would take precedent, and the other person would switch to the big TV, and we would switch off and play. We did that all night, one night until 6 a.m, until sunrise. Not because we were trying to stay up till sunrise, just because that's how it happened. Mm-hmm. Now, that was us being just dumb nerds in college, loving video game football. Being dumb nerds in like junior high, I assume. There was a sleepover at Mike Boylan's house. We all went there, stayed awake until wee hours of the night, and then it was just like 3 a.m. Like, let's go outside and be stupid, let's go be idiots, and just like because you don't even know why you're doing this. Like, why are we doing this? Running around the neighborhood at 3 and like ugh.
Walking in the middle of the street.
Exactly, because it's just so cool to be in the
can't.
street where you don't have to worry about it. But the bright idea that arose from this one was that Mike had fireworks, and of course fireworks illegal in Illinois. But he had like bottle rockets and Roman candles and all that dumb shit. So 3 a.m., we walk out into the middle of this intersection that's usually busy. Houses everywhere. They're right next door to each other. And just start lighting off fireworks like a bunch of assholes and just being stupid. Yeah. And so we're lighting off all these fireworks, being a bunch of shooting Roman candles at each other, doing all this dumb shit. And finally, we run out of fireworks. And one of the other friends is like, I'm going to go to Mike's house and get a paper bag and I'm going to poop in it. And then we're going to do that stupid thing because we had seen it in like whatever movie that's in a million movies. We're like, all right, cool. We'll wait for you here on the lawn of this house of this guy. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. So we just sat down and are bullshitting in this guy's yard or whatever. And I don't know how he did it because he did it like Batman. But like literally all of a sudden, just flashlight on. Mike and somebody's like, what the hell are you doing out here? And I answered from like, oh, sorry. And he's like, I scared him. He had no idea there was other kids on the other. Like, oh. And so I was like, oh, we'll go home. And we're like, all right. And so then we all just like did that weird thing of like, are we actually going to walk? And like Mike walked away from his house. So we all just dispersed into random parts of the neighborhood and then had to somehow remember how to get back because it wasn't in our neighborhood. But it's just like, what are you thinking? 3 a.m, go light off fireworks. Nobody's going to catch us or care.
I feel like we all have collective experiences like that, though. Like, I feel like everyone's sleepover stories at some point, there's going to be some things where we're like, oh, yeah, I did that too. That's awesome. What about you?
When I can't necessarily think of so many stories off the top of my head, but when I think of sleepovers in general, like I said before, joking around, I definitely think of GoldenEye for N64.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like that was the first time that it was this like, we're getting pizza. I just got N64. I got GoldenEye. I got the golden controller. We're having a sleepover. We're not going to sleep the whole weekend type shit.
Yeah.
And it definitely turned into like where I remember it was just like kids were dropping out. I ended up just being like one of the only, survivors. And it was like, I don't even know why we kept playing. And it was just...
Because you could.
Yeah.
That was the thing. We did that same thing in like high school with that and Smash Brothers.
And then like also it progressed. I have this memory of, going back to, 311, my buddy Mike growing up, he was like the first person I knew that had a cable modem. and it was like there was this House of Blues site back in the day that streamed all these concerts, and it was like stuff you couldn't see. And there was a 311 one, and basically because it was 300K, it was like we thought we were like discovering this fucking hidden thing, and we like we made such a big point to like watch that, and a bunch of other concerts over and over again. And definitely later on, as Colin mentioned earlier, with me peeing in the kitchen, that turned in, that was like later on, like before college, it was like sleepovers progressing to people just having massive blowout parties.
Right.
And the reason to make that story somewhat short, I'm like, oh, I can't think of stories, and now I'm telling a story. But I do remember it being very vital to always be at that age, at least, and when you went into college, to be drinking around people that truly have your back, and that story basically turned into me being at this kind of sleepover party with a bunch of people that like weren't like my true friends, and I was like totally just blasted drunk, and then like it ended up with me, peeing in this kitchen, and
Was
it
it
was
out of Defiance? Were you peeing in the kitchen?
no, like I was
You're not even my real
like
friends.
no, it was just like I should have, it's like someone should have taken me home out of that party at that point, and I think I must have just like woken up in the middle of the night and like pissed on this floor, and and I woke up to this girl being like, "What is wrong with you?" But anyway, that was But yeah, you're talking about more like kid sleepovers, but
Well, when
Hey, it
do
happens.
sleepovers lose? When do they lose their importance in style? I guess when you can drive, when you can actively go home.
You know what? It's weird because I feel
couldn't
like
go home.
I feel like I still have sleepovers every once in a while. There's a difference between staying at someone's house and a sleepover, and I can't put my finger on what it is. But like I feel like even recently, and I guess maybe it's just that I don't know if I could have a sleepover with people I meet now. Like if we all slept together, then we're just sleeping at the same house. It's not a sleepover.
Well,
You
dude,
slept
sorry to
here a lot.
interrupt it.
But
That was like even when you came to visit me the last couple times when I lived in Brooklyn, it was like we were staying up late listening to records and just kind of shooting the shit, and it felt like a sleepover.
I think that's it. It's are you staying up till 3 a.m. not wanting to go to sleep? Like if you have that moment where you're both laying in the same room when you don't need to be laying in the same room, and you're both pretending you're asleep, and then like after 15 minutes of silence, there's hey, are you still awake?
Dude,
That proves it's
Sleep
a
over.
I had a recent experience like that. I was in San Diego working on a music project, and I was in a hotel with my buddy Ron, who's a drummer, and we had gotten back just from like a long night of drinking, and we were just laughing about everything, and it definitely turned into that you awake?
Yeah.
And like just cracking up over and over again about other shit that was being said throughout the night, and like still joking, like he like still just I guess kind of capturing that vibe of a sleepover.
Yeah, there's something about it, like everything's funnier. When
Well, it's because
just
you
with
get
these
sleep
group of
deprived.
people. Yeah.
When
but,
you're
like,
a kid, you're not sleep deprived. Like
I remember. So my best friend Curran, his birthday every year, we always do this massive sleepover to this day, and I'll never forget. Like the year 2, my God, someone is dying right now. But year 2, we were there, and South Park was on, and they were making fun of Steve Irwin, and he was like, "I'll take my thumb and shove it up his butthole," and for some reason we thought that was so funny, and it's like it's kind of funny, but like, we died, and like all night, at some point, if anyone just showed their thumb, we would be in hysterics for like 10 minutes. And like, it's that weird culture. And it's like waking up in the morning and everyone else being asleep, and you just having to be like, fuck, I need to pretend to sleep. I don't want to be the first one to get up. It's hella awkward. That always happens.
Yeah.
When the parents start fighting, and it's just like, why are you fighting right now? It's like, can you not do this while we're here? Or when the parents start fighting with your friend, and you're just like, well, this is awkward. Am I supposed, whose side am I? Then the mom gets you involved. Tim,
Oh my
what
God.
do you think? Whose side are you on? I'm like, I'm on your side, I guess.
That
And your
reminds me,
friend's like,
going back to my buddy Mike, there was a time in high school where his dad came home and was like yelling at his mom, and his mom was like, Ramon's here, and he was like, I don't give a fuck.
yeah.
That was kind of like anyway, sorry.
For me, I feel like my story, and I have a lot of friends that I have sleepovers with, like, because I still am friends with my middle school, high school friends, but I feel like more than anything is Kevin, because
The man
me and
Felicia
Kevin-
Day called disgusting.
Me and Kevin grew up together, And at this point, we had so many sleepovers that, because he lived in Daly City, I lived in San Francisco, so it was kind of a commute to get to him. So I'd get on the 28, get over to him. And at this point, the night of the sleepover, to me, is more like the movie-sized version of it, where it's like, this is probably 100 different sleepovers, but in my head, it is just one night. One night of just the dumbest, stupidest things anyone could ever do. Like, I'll never forget. It was me, him, and my brother, and then we just decided, like, we walked to get Hawaiian food, which nowadays we'd go, and it's like we need 3 plates to, like, fill ourselves, and we're still not hungry. But back then, we'd get 1 plate, and the 3 of us would share it, and it'd be fine. So we did that, and like these homeless guys were like asking us for money.
Was it another Freak Nasty situation?
It wasn't Freak Nasty. It was just like homeless people asking us for change. We didn't have any money on us. And this, I don't know. Kevin thinks that this makes us good people. I think it makes us fucking atrocious, horrible people. We were also like 11 at the time. We decided to go home and get all the change we could find, which was pretty much a lot of pennies. Because you know how like everyone's house has that big water cooler full of fucking pennies? So we just got that. We decided, let's go find homeless people. When they ask for money, start screaming jackpot and start throwing all of the coins at them. And we thought it'd be hilarious. So we took all our coins and we went out and tried to find homeless people, and we just couldn't find any.
We also had cargo pants. So
we were
You
stocked.
definitely had cargo pants.
We were stocked on coins. And it was just amazing. And then we couldn't find any homeless people. So then we were like, all right, whatever. We stopped that plan. And then we walked all the way to Toys R Us, and we started playing hide and seek in Toys R Us because that was just fun. And we played that for hours. Then we go outside, and it was pouring rain. And it just made no sense how it went from nothing to just rain. But we all had Razor scooters. Duh. And Heelys.
How old are you?
11.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Razor scooters and Heelys, which for the uninformed, if you don't know what Heelys are, they're shoes with the skate wheel in the back, so you had to do the thing.
Definitely.
So
I was super depressed when wheelies came around because I was too old for them, and it was like, damn, where were those when I was growing up?
I want to
remember
be the best.
Do you remember
with us.
soaps? Do you remember soap shoes?
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. So soap shoes were amazing. They had like the grind thing in the middle so you can grind. The Heelys I had at the time was when Heelys bought soap. So it was Heelys with the soap thing. Damn. It was a fucking mind-blowing experience. Wow. But so what we decided to do is the Toys R Us was on a hill. And so and it was raining, so it was this huge puddle of water. Like it was like a river at that point. And we decided that we're going to ride our scooters, jump off the scooters and start heeling and go into the water because it'd be hilarious. So we did this.
With all the change in your pocket still?
I don't know what we did with the change. But then we like got soaking wet. Like it was pouring rain.
It worked though. Like
it worked. Yeah, no, we got a nice like drift going through the river.
We got in like 2 feet of water and we were just like, all right.
All right, we're fucked. So we got soaking wet. We go back to his house, and then his mom was just furious. It's like, why the fuck did you guys do this? And we was like, I don't know, it was fun. So then we had to like spend the rest of the night trying to like blow dry it with hair dryers, like dry our clothes, because it was the only clothes we had. So at this point, we're just soaking wet and miserable. And then a bunch of other things happened. And then at some point, like Kevin's like, dude, I think this file cabinet is filled with Playboys. And I was like, no
This
shit.
is at your house?
Yeah.
There was one Playboy.
In the basement or the garage. So we go down, and his dad was a newspaper delivery person. So there was like hella newspapers.
Your dad was really good at his job. Delivered them right to the trash in the garage.
I mean, there was like mountains of like newspaper. Like he was a corporate news delivery person. So like he would like fill a pickup truck up with this stuff and bring it to all the companies and
There'd
shit.
be like a little bit extra, and he'd just leave it there. And over 2 years.
Yeah, his garage was just filled with these mountains, right? So we had to like climb through the mountains, and we were sneaking down the garage because we don't want to get caught. We're looking through all the stuff. I'm hoisting Kevin up on my shoulders and shit, and he's looking through. And then in between all of it, there was just one hidden issue that his dad had, and we got it. It was just mind-blowing. It was like our first experience with boobs, besides Titanic. And we were just like, holy shit. It was like a game changer. I'll never forget it. Like, we both just started talking. We were freaking out. Like, this is getting a little, like, it was an emotional moment for us. Like, honestly, it was the first time I was noticeably aroused. Where I was like, this is what horny is. Like, I was introduced to horny with Kevin.
On your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me.
Sorry,
Sorry.
keep going.
No, it just reminds me when I was introduced to horny too. It was like back, remember like Real Sex on HBO?
Oh yeah, I remember.
I remember that. I remember that came on. on HBO, and I was at my buddy Rob's. This is when I used to live in North Jersey, and we were watching it, and we were just kind of like, and then like later on, I remember like like having that same kind of banter before you go to bed. I was just like, Rob, you feel kind of weird. But it was like I was talking about like my hard ass dick.
Yeah. No, that's seriously though. Like that was the conversation we had though. It's like, hey, I feel. Do you feel what I'm feeling right now? And it was like a really.
Did he? Were you feeling it?
Yeah, probably. I mean, we were in bunk beds.
He was like, no.
Yeah.
I was no longer on his shoulder.
Yeah. No, we were separate at that point. But and also this was the first time that I was like really aroused. But the first time that I remember being horny was Idle Hands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when
you
Jessica
blew off
Alba's-
heaven to kick it with me.
Yeah,
Her
Oh,
Halloween
that was
costume.
amazing.
Jesus
Yeah, that's the thing. The Halloween costume, the part of it gets
Yeah,
ripped
yeah,
off.
yeah.
I was like, what is happening right now? Anyways, so we see this Playboy, and then we're like, we hear people, so we like put it back, and it was this whole thing. And
Rigmarole.
then at some point we like it's
Several hours later, we ordered pizza.
yeah. Well, no, so several hours later we're like fucking hungry, and it's like 1 a.m. And so we decide me, him, and my little brother decide to sneak out to go to In-N-Out, and we're like, all right, let's do that. So we go to In-N-Out.
That isn't open at 1 a.m.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went, and we're like, well, we don't have a car. Well, only the drive-thru was open. So we're like,
Wendy's.
it's like we'll walk through this thing and just jump because it must be a sensor thing, right? So we started doing it, and me and these two motherfuckers jumping, trying to get the sensors to work. That shit doesn't work. And eventually someone's like, yeah, we can't serve you. I'm sorry. Like, there's a car behind you. Like, you can't do this. So we're like, fuck this. We're going to Krispy Kreme. So we go to Krispy Kreme, same
this is
shit.
the Daly City one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually the Krispy Kreme, they were cool with it. They knew what was up, so they gave us some donuts. We're like, fuck yeah. So then we take them back, we eat the donuts, but then we're like, fuck, we're still hungry. Like, we need food. And I don't even need to go into details about how complicated it was getting out of this house without waking up his parents. Like, we literally jumped down floors of like we were doing dangerous Indiana Jones shit. So we're back in his garage at this point because we were sleeping in his garage. And
On newspaper beds.
yeah, pretty much.
That was one garage.
And
The other garage
there was two garages. So we decide that we're going to order pizza. So we order pizza, and we have to tell the guy, like, hey, this is some fucking covert ops shit. Like,
Don't ring the bell.
do not ring the bell. Like, our mom's going to be pissed. We're going to pay you, though. Don't even trip. Like, it's going to be good. So they were
Call this
super cool.
number.
They were super. Yeah, no, we were like, you got to call this number. We got
You're
whatever.
like, leave it on the
And this is,
doorstep and get
pre-cell
the hell out
phones.
of here.
This is pre-cell phones, too. So it was like some real secret shit. About an hour later, they show up. And we just hear them pull up. And we open the little flap, like the mail flap.
Like Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. And we're like, hey,
You're like,
here's the money. Can you put the pizza through slice by slice?
slice by slice?
The
What did
only
they
way.
say?
They did it.
No
They
fucking
fucking
way.
did it.
Oh my
I would
god.
say, did you tip him well?
Oh, I mean, no, we were
I was
fucking.
gonna say I would be like increase the tip 75%
yeah.
for me to go.
Nah,
slice
dude.
it.
I mean, he was.
Otherwise,
he was
I'm ringing
loving
the
it.
doorbell and walking away.
Some dirty
But yeah, and then that was it. So what started as trying to like
Broke-ass slice.
give some homeless people some change ended up with us getting pizza through a
Seems
mail
like a great.
slot.
That seems like a great
touching that
adventure.
copper.
There you go.
Great adventure.
Yeah.
Colin, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, I remember just, I guess the sleepover story I'll tell is that when I was a young kid in Long Island, I lived in this cul-de-sac, and I was really good friends with these brothers, Tim and Mike, who I'm still friends with today, but we were really, really tight. And we would hang out all the time, and I would always sleep over their house or always sleep over our house. We had a great time, and then I moved away to New England for a little while, and I would see them over the summers, and then I moved back. And when I moved back to Long Island in high school, like full time, we would kind of grew apart. We weren't really friends anymore. We were friendly, but we would see each other.
That's
and
how
stuff.
it goes. Yeah, it happens.
But so I used to hang out with them from probably like 88 to 97 or something like that. And then I came back, and then we were just kind of acquaintances or whatever. But we would still talk, and Facebook kind of brought us back together, and we would chat and be like, so in 2006, I went home for Christmas. This is when we were still at Northeastern.
Mm-hmm.
And it was awesome. Like, I was having a really bad time. My girlfriend at the time that, we knew broke up with me, and I was just like really miserable. And they had gotten in touch with me on Facebook, and they're like, yo, like, we're going to be home for Christmas. You should come over and hang out and like, sleep over, and we'll like hang out. And what ended up happening was that we hadn't really hung out at all since we were like 13 or 14 years old. Now we're like 22. And I ended up going over to their house. I haven't been in their house since the mid or late 90s. I'm just walking around their house. Everything's the same. I'm getting like really nostalgic as I do. And then it ended up being so awesome. Like, now we're adults. Like, we just got a bunch of booze, and we were just and like food, and we were just hanging out eating. But we were and drinking, but we were playing Solar Quest, which was the game we used to play, like the Monopoly game or whatever. Then we were like playing video games. We went in the backyard and played wiffle ball. Like we were fucking totally trash and like hanging out. And it was like one of the great nights of my life. And I slept over their house, and I'm like, this is awesome because like we're grown ass men just reliving those times one last time. You know what I mean? Like one last wiffle ball game, one last Solar Quest game. But now with like we were inebriated a little bit, and we all woke up the next morning and kind of went our separate ways. I haven't seen them in person since actually.
Really?
Yeah, and I was just like, that was awesome, you know. And they were like, yeah, that was like really a trip, man. You know, like to just do that, like to just have you here again, or whatever. And that's my most memorable sleepover experience is actually when I was an adult because it was recapturing those glory days of childhood. So that's what I always remember, and I really cherished that night. Like that was a really, really fun and nostalgic night, and I really needed that at the time because I was like so in such bad shape, as Ramon could tell you. So, yeah, that's my story. Quick and dirty.
What did they do with the pizza box? Did they take it back to the pizza place?
No, yeah. So because his dad had so much fucking newspapers, like their recycling game was on point. So like he could hide that shit under the stacks of newspapers. It was fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Weird. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Game Over Greggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunny and get the shows early on Friday. If you don't want to give us any money, goddamn that guy. Can you hear him, Kevin? Does he ring through? Do people understand?
Tiny bit.
Ugh. If you don't like that,
Oh, there he is
every day,
again.
topic by topic, Monday through Thursday, youtube.com/kindafunny before we put up the entire show as a YouTube video and an MP3 on Fridays. Ramon, thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for keeping
having
Colin
me.
alive. You
did good.
There's some things that he's a little half-baked on. I blame you for it. But there's a lot of the good things. He's a good guy. If people want to support you in any way, what can they do? You're a musician. What do they do?
Yeah, I mean, there was a record I written. There was a record I'd written with a great friend of mine, Dylan, that is available on iTunes. It's called Elephant Walk.
It's really good.
So if you search Ramon and Dylan on iTunes, you can find the record. Or you can go to bandcamp.com, or I think it's ramonanddylan.bandcamp.com.
Yeah.
You can find it there, and you know, in the meantime, I'm playing in various projects. Go support my buddies, Bad Rabbits. Really great friends of mine. I fill in for them. Doing a lot of great things. So
Follow you on Twitter. It's been up throughout the video, I'm sure.
Yeah, Namon Rarvaez, I would say. That's how you pronounce it.
Maybe not the best name for picking up on social media.
It's
but...
okay. It's okay. If you want to find me, you can find me.
Okay, there you go. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.